page 6 and page 7 there if you wanted to look at them, but we can also just work on page 6 for right now. Persuasive speaking, as it says at the top of the page, and it gives you that little line to write it, but we just underlined exactly what persuasive speaking is, right? Yeah, okay, so it's the process of changing or, everybody, reinforcing good one's attitudes and their beliefs and their values and actions. Good. Changing or reinforcing one's attitudes, beliefs, values, or actions. So feel free to write that down if you want, but that is what a persuasive speech is. It is certainly not an informative speech. We are now taking action, and that's where we're going to be looking at. And we're going to be asserting an idea towards the audience that we want them to accept. And we're going to need to come up with elements, again, to support our thesis statement or for the process of building our thesis statement. And last time we did that, we did our general purpose, specific purpose, or your central idea, and your thesis statement, if you remember. The same elements are going to apply, but if you notice, there's a new term inside of those 3 points. And it's no longer the central idea, although it's like the central idea. It's called your... Exactly. So how will you come up with a way to accurately and most persuasively convince your audience? What? Well, by coming up with a proposition, everyone. Let me show you that. Oh, my goodness, y'all. So sorry. Your assignment will essentially look like so for your persuasive thesis and how to write it. But a proposition, funny enough, I came in and there was that piece of paper on the table. It says what? Prop 8. So when do you oftentimes hear of propositions?
Ballots.
Oh, ballots for what?
Laws.
Laws. Good deal. So propositions are typically on the ballot for the purpose of either putting in a new law or guideline or rule, or perchance taking one away, or maybe changing one. Good, absolutely. So these propositions at our state level are laws or rules or policies that individuals are asserting need some kind of change or application, or like you said, to appeal it or to repeal it. So Prop 8 was always an interesting one back in the day. And I don't know if you all remember Prop 8, but propositions, by definition, what's a proposal? So we know that we've heard it there. What's a proposal? You all did it earlier in the semester. Let's do it this way. When the chat, my love, asked me to marry him, he proposed. And he hoped that I would say no.
Yes. No, he meant yes.
He hoped that I said yes. Your proposition is what you want your audience to say?
Yes.
Yes to. Write that down. A proposition is what you want your audience to agree with you on at the end of your speech, but what you want your audience to say yes to. So if we think about propositions, and if we're thinking about these propositions even on the ballot, oftentimes individuals will get a little bit concerned or confused. One, yes, they're written in more technical jargon because just like any discipline's writing, political writing is also unique. Law is a unique way of writing as well. So back in the day, there was something called Prop 8. Prop 8, before the Prop 8 now, which is dialysis, but Prop 8 before in California was yes on Prop 8, same-sex marriage. Do you all remember maybe this idea now? So everybody who was looking at it was like, vote yes on Prop 8, same-sex marriage. It's like, oh, okay, yeah. But what people didn't remember is that same-sex marriage was already legal in California. So when they saw this idea of vote yes, this concept, they thought that they were voting yes on same-sex marriage. That sounds like a good idea. But in turn, when you voted yes, it was actually voting no for same-sex same-sex marriage. So a yes vote, because all propositions are written so that you say yes. So a yes vote, in fact, was for a no. Does that make sense? The difficult and confusing part about it also went to the Supreme Court, got overturned. You know, California's got the same-sex marriage now because there was a little bit of a problem with the way. I mean, there was so much money put into that campaign for the yes on 8 that, I mean, the strategy was really a smart one. But keep that in mind the next time you're reading a proposition. You know that they want you to say yes, and so that's how you should read it. So what do you want your audience to say yes to? That's what we need to start thinking about. We know that there's a couple things that we need to start brainstorming, but how do we start to, oh, yeah, there. I hope this works. Let me make sure this works. Okay, good. Each of you have your topic that you have been working on. Now, again, we can't take on the